What's up, fantastic people? I'm Casey, and today I want to share with you is what I consider my top financial tips. This is for anyone who's a millennial, Generation X, Z, ABC, but it's mainly for anyone who's ready to take control of their financial future, because there are some things that you must do and some pitfalls that you must avoid if you want to be successful in the long run. Now, there are plenty of financial tips out there, but these are what I consider the foundation if you're just starting. So let's go ahead and check those out. Tip number one. Tip number one is to make a budget. Yeah, I know it's so obvious. Make a budget. But 2 out of 3 people fail to budget. Where do you stand? Are you someone who budgets, or are you someone who doesn't budget? A well-defined budget is gonna allow you to have a plan for your money. It's gonna tell you what's coming in, and it's also gonna tell you what's coming out. It's gonna take into effect those month-to-month expenses like car note, rent, student loans, and it's also gonna take into effect those occasional expenses, the things that you're saving for, like car repairs or that trip to Thailand. These are gonna be meant to be budgeted into your month-to-month budget, and so that when it comes time to make a car repair or that trip to Thailand, you're not spending money on a credit card, or you're not taking away from your savings. Tip number 2. The second tip that I have for you is to establish an emergency fund. Picture this. You're living your dream life. You just got your dream job, you have your dream car, and hey, you even have your dream girl or guy. And all of a sudden, you lose your job. Oh, what shall you do? What shall I do? That's when your emergency fund is gonna come into place. Your emergency fund is meant to cover those unexpected expenses or those unexpected events in life, like a job loss or your car breaks down. What's gonna happen when those things happen? And so it's suggested to have 3 to 6 months of emergency funds saved up. The reason why is because if anything was to happen to you, you can at least have 3 to 6 months of savings saved up to pay for the necessities while you look for a new job. I recommend putting your emergency fund in a high yield savings account so that you're gaining more interest than a traditional bank would give you. In the description below, I'm gonna put down some different accounts that I recommend to you so that you're gaining money while it's just sitting there. Tip number 3. My third tip to all you millennials and Generation Zs out there is to get the company match. Most companies will match you up to a certain percentage, usually 2 to 5%. So if you make $50,000 and your employer has a 5% match, they're gonna give you $2,500 of free money, assuming you put it in first. So why aren't you taking advantage of this free retirement money? Say at least get the company match. That's free money given to you. Tip number 4. Tip number 4 is not to follow the herd. Just like anything else, people have a tendency to follow what they see. A lot of times we get investment advice from our friends, our neighbors, our brother. Just because they start investing into it, we start investing into it. Remember in 2017 when Bitcoin had its tremendous rally? It reached nearly $20,000 in price, and analysts had predicted that it was gonna reach $1 million pretty soon. You wanna know where Bitcoin is today? It's a little bit over $8,000. So every single person that invested their hard-earned money, their retirement savings, into Bitcoin, they ended up losing. Now this wiped out tons and tons of people. When it comes to investing, if you're chasing the herd, then that means you're already too late. Don't follow the herd. Take the time to do your due diligence and make the right investment decision for you. Because just because your brother or your neighbor invests into it doesn't mean that it's right for you. Tip number 5. My final tip to you is pay extra towards debt. Debt is a necessity in some areas of life, but we need to make sure that we're paying off debt as quick as possible. Here's why. The sooner you pay off debt, the less interest you pay over time. For instance, Let's say that you have $50,000 in student loan debt and it takes you 10 years to pay it off. That $50,000 loan will end up costing you around about $60,000. Now let's say you take 20 years to pay it off. Over the course of 20 years, you would have paid almost $80,000 just to borrow $50,000. $30,000 in interest. Pay more towards debt. The minimum due is not gonna cut it. You may be asking, Casey, how am I supposed to pay down debt, save, and invest more, and do all these other things? I'm barely making it. Well, it starts with your budget. A well-defined budget is gonna allow you to allocate every single dollar. It's gonna tell you what you need to do and what you cannot do so that you can meet your financial goals. It may mean that you have to pack your lunch instead of going out to eat with your coworkers. Or you may have to miss out on a few trips so that you can build up an emergency fund in your savings account. Whatever your financial goals, I know that you can achieve them. If this video has helped you in any sort of way, hit the like button, subscribe, and share with other people that you think may benefit from this video. Until next time.